Here, coming at you with a Grand Arena match recording. This is my first time recording these, but it's really one of my favorite game modes, so I should have kind of done this a long time ago. And now that our entire history is public anyways, I figured I might as well start making these videos. I've historically done pretty well at Grand Arena, considering I used to be in Division 3 and I have a decent lifetime score. I've only ever lost one match, which was actually in the last season in 3v3, where I picked a counter that didn't end up working. So I lost that match by about 8 points. But in general, I do pretty well in these. Actually, this is not my best rank achieved. I guess it just stores the rank from the last tournament. So I did pretty well here, despite losing one of my matches. Which goes to show that you really don't need to complete all of the feats. You really don't need to win every single battle to still get a really nice rank, as long as you do win all of the other ones. Now, I have about 4.4 mil GP. For the people who don't know me, my roster is limited in some sense, but there's a lot of fun stuff I can do with it. So let's talk less and just go do that. Now, my first round is up against a guy called SWGOH. And what I usually do before I fight someone is have a quick look at what exactly I can expect from them. And a lot of people like to use Discord bots for that to compare. I only sometimes do this if I have a really strong opponent. In this case, it should be doable, but he has a very interesting roster. There are some quick checks of things that I like to do. One of them is obviously the lifetime championship score, to get an idea of how strong is this person, how many battles have they won and lost. You can always have a good look at the offensive battles won, the successful defense, to get an idea of their ratio here and compare it to yourself, your allies, people in your squad arena or in your guild, to get an idea of how offense heavy is this person or how defense heavy are they. Now, in the case of this person, they have 324 wins, 136 defense. If I check myself, I'm quite a bit higher on the offensive wins and substantially higher on the defense. So I should be all right over there. Now, if I look at his roster, he actually made some crazy choices that surprised me, to be honest. He put a lot of relics, obviously, into his Darth Revan team. And for me, that's always a little, let's say, scary would be an overstatement, but it's definitely a bit riskier because I have pretty limited relics on my Darth Revan team. I just have Darth Revan at relic 1, Bastilla as well. And my Malak is like relic 5, so sometimes you can get overwhelmed a little bit if the team is super heavy on relics. Now, he also has a high relic Jedi Knight Revan team across the board, as you can see here. And interestingly enough, he took his B1 to relic 7 before his Grievous. But the thing that stood out most to me is this Geobrute Alpha here at relic 7. If you look at the collective health and protection, 203k, that's really quite crazy. I have not fought a Geonosian team that strong, so that should be a fun matchup if he puts it on defense. Then he's got Nest, Dooku, and some Night Sisters relic, Bosk as well. And that's more or less it, other than these Geos. So he's definitely missing a bunch of things. Obviously no General Skywalker, his clones are not really developed yet. So in that regard, I should be okay. And one other thing I tend to do is this: sort the roster by speed, and then check how much speed this bottom right character here has. In this case, Poggle the Lesser has 239 speed. Now, from my perspective, that's really slow. If this is his 18th fastest character, if I look at my own roster, and I sort that by speed, ARC Troopers here on the third row, ARC Troopers 270. So that's about a 30 speed difference between this character on both of our rosters. So that's for me already big enough to now really dive deeper into all of the specific mod stats and everything. So in this case, in our bracket here for the week, I'm actually facing what I think is likely the weakest opponent because he's the only one who doesn't have General Skywalker, but he's definitely got some interesting teams that I could lose against. And I'm someone who really likes to clear the board if I can. I think most people do. And I also like to one-shot stuff as much as possible to get actual high scores, so that in the event where I do lose a match, I can still end up pretty high in my ranking. So I'm someone who really enjoys Grand Arena, who likes to be efficient at it. So let's look at what exactly has happened. My opponent already attacked. I sort of cowardly put my General Skywalker on defense here, knowing that he didn't really have a counter for it. Main reason for that is because of his unusually strong Jedi Knight Revan and Geo teams. I thought he could be one of those people who tries to, let's say, grief others in some way and put this super strong defense that's really hard to break. So I figured I'd just give him a hard time with this one. One-shot the team over here. But he didn't actually clear any zones. He, due to the lack of a strong enough Padme team, didn't get through my Night Sisters and took 2 attempts on my Grievous. But the fact that he didn't take down my Night Sisters does make me ask some questions, because his JKR should have definitely one-shot my Grievous team. And I don't know if that's what he used, but apparently whatever he used didn't one-shot me. So I feel like he must still have some kind of strong team left to take out my Night Sisters if he balanced his offense and defense well. But apparently he didn't, or he might be waiting for me to attack, which I'm about to do. So looking at it that way, it seems likely that he would have some strong teams in the back zones, and that's further reinforced by the fact that his front zones are really quite weak. Like Phoenix in the front line here with some Gear 8s. Karth team, nothing special there, I guess. And then at the top he has a CLS team with a Gear 8 Chewie. So he pumped CLS to Relic 4 but has a Gear 8 Chewie. It blows my mind. I have no idea. This guy's made some really strange roster choices. But at the same time, that can make it a pretty interesting matchup, because you think a little different about how you approach things rather than just kind of fighting the usual strength teams. So the first order here as well, I'll have to see what exactly I'm going to use against these. But let's get into it. I'm going to start off with the Phoenix team and just go through this whole zone pretty quickly. And I guess I'll be using my troopers, which I don't get to use a whole lot because, as you can see, they are slightly under-geared. Pretty sure I'll be bringing all of them though. I could try to save a banner by dropping one of them, but I think in general it will probably be smarter for me to just play it safe and go with the full team. Also because the Phoenix members end up countering quite a bit. So I'm just gonna go safe here, go with all of them. I shouldn't really have any trouble against the Gear 8s obviously, but it's mostly for banner reasons. You can ditch one character and then actually end up with less, which would be pretty silly. So I'm not going to do the AoE here because they're just all going to counter and probably strip too much protection. And that's already enough to take Hera down. Zeb, I guess, is next because he's the other Gear 8. And that's where the counters come in that I talked about. I don't really want to do the AoE in any of these cases, as long as there's too many of them alive. I'm going to go with Kanan next, Gear 8, just to stop the counters, and then after that probably pick off Ezra because he's the main damage dealer at Gear 11, which is, yeah, obviously nothing interesting. That killed him, and pretty easy 60 banners there. Woohoo. Using troopers and a Gear 8 Phoenix team. Amazing start to my first Grand Arena video. This will really entertain people. Alright, Karth then, probably going to be using CLS, but there's this one feat where you have to use Maul and Savage, and I was thinking I could probably just throw them in here and hopefully turn meter control them enough so that they don't really take any turns and I don't end up losing any banners. I guess the only issue is that since Maul is kind of weak and Savage is even worse, they will get the guard from Chewie, so that will drop my damage a fair bit. But I don't think there's going to be any other team where I will be able to make good use of these guys. Possibly against the First Order team, but I don't really want to take in like Rage Edit Training, BB-8 and R2 there, as they can still do some damage despite the somewhat lower gears. So I'm gonna need to have at least 4 characters there to make it work. So I think this is going to be smartest. I could also save the feat for the back and do something with Nest there or with Treya. Treya could be an okay choice, but I did see his Geo team and I wouldn't be including Mole and Savage against those. That would be not really ideal. So I'm gonna go with these. Even if they die, I'll lose some banners. It's whatever. I'd rather just get it over with. Alright, it's so weird to see these flashy red sabers in the back here. So I don't really want to drop anyone under the health threshold too quickly. Although I'm probably going to go against Karth here. I'll just dispel Zalbar. Or might even go directly for mission. Yeah, let's just stick with Karth. Alright. Dispel you. Okay, I got the buff immunity there. That's important. Or this is going to be a long and bloody battle. Gonna stun you. Or not. That's also an option, I guess. I don't really mind Juhani doing stuff, but I don't want Canderous to go crazy on me. Hopefully land some dazes. I did. Alright, gonna heal from these. Really nice that they actually went for CLS there. So Juhani's about to move. That's fine. Oh, I could have actually gone in with Savage for the kill there. That would have been beautiful. No problem though. I'm gonna kill you. And there go my banners. Hopefully none of them die, but I mean realistically, someone's gonna die here. Probably right now. Nope. Well, I'll be bleeding some banners, but it's okay. Don't really mind that too much. Nobody died, so that's a win. That is a beautiful win. 54. For me, that's a bit low, because I tried to be more efficient than that. But in this case, I just wanted the feet out of the way, and that's what I've done. In the back, interesting, he actually put Padme in the back. I did not expect that. It does explain why he struggled against the Night Sisters, but even with this Padme team, he wouldn't have made it, so I was okay there. The new team was expected as well. I can't say I expected him to put his Night Sisters in there, because that means he strangely split them up. But this team is not really going to pose any problems either. So I'm just going to open up the other front zone here. There's not really any point in clearing this first. It's much better to, if you're able to, of course, open both of the front zones so you can see what's in the back and just de-risk the board in general, as he might have some stuff in the back here that I would do better against with my counters than some of the stuff here at the bottom. So CLS, then we've got First Order, and I'll guess I'll go against the First Order first. Makes sense. I will leave out T3 just for the extra banner. I shouldn't really have any trouble recovering my protection. Now what I could do for these videos, I suppose, is throw some music in the background. If you would rather have me do that, just let me know in the comments below, and then I can look into doing that and making sure I don't get any copyright strikes or stuff like that. I'm gonna take you down first. I don't really mind this guy handing out turn meter. I think I can keep the turn meter controlled actually, so it's going to stun you. Should kill. Pretty tanky executioner he's got there. I'll let him do it with a counter then. That should... Or I can get stunned, that's also an option. Dispel this guy. So, where were we? Now I want to get a stun over on Kylo Ren more than I want to burn all of them. So I'm going to do that. Take this guy out. The defense up is really helping them a lot. But I should be able to get an Illuminated Destiny off before the end here and be okay. Surprises me because usually I go a bit harder on these First Order teams with a lot more gear than these guys have that I'm fighting right now, so it's interesting how slow it's being. Alright, I'm already going to use it. There's really no point in keeping it. Yes. Guess I could have killed off Kylo Ren there, but there's really nothing they can do here. Alright, saved one banner. And then the CLS team is the final one in the front line, and I'll have to think what I want to use there. My initial thought before I saw the back zone was to use my GOs here, which I kept for offense, but I think the GOs will do a lot better against this nuke team over here, which I could arguably also kill with Rage Jedi training, but I kind of like GOs versus Newt. So I was saying Rage Jedi training, but I meant Jedi Knight Revan, of course. So the CLS team I could of course completely obliterate with Padme, but that seems a bit silly. I could be using my Jedi, I suppose. Might not end up being a bad choice. Seems better to just save Darth Revan and Padme for the back to kill whatever's over there. Traya for Padme. Just seems crazy to use Jedi here against this CLS team. But if it works, then it works, so no need to overthink it too much. Just trying to think in terms of banners, how I can get a little more out of it, because it's quite nice to get opponents like these where you can actually get some pretty high scores against. Most of these will be stealthed though, so having Jedi Knight Revan doesn't really help a huge amount. So that seems like a straightforward choice actually. So I'm gonna fight these guys, use my Jedi Knight Revan. Just thinking if I want to use JKR lead. I think I do. It will just be a bit tricky to ensure that I end up with max banners if I do that. So I'm gonna go like this actually. And I might leave out Hermit Yoda, as I don't think he really adds much here. Let's just keep him in. There's really no need to undersize as much as I normally do because there aren't any feats for it. I'm just really used to that. It's really quite strange to not have a Grand Arena month where these undersized feats are a thing. But I guess it's nice for a change. It can get a bit dull after a while. So I want to kill Han next here. Spread the buffs. Yes, R2-D2, protect him. He probably has the Zeta where I cannot remove. Yeah, he's got the tenacity. Alright. Are there any buffs worth spreading here? Not really, since he cannot share the foresight that he has, so there's no point. Man, I overkilled this really hard. What did I say again about leaving out Hermit Yoda? Could have probably left out multiple characters. Alright. As long as I end up over 60 banner average, it should be worthwhile. Alright, in the back, Grievous and clones. So he did actually go pretty heavy on offense, I guess, in the end. Well, anyway, let's go do this one next, since it's my least favorite battle out of these, I suppose. I'm not going to undersize the Geos either. There's not too much point right now. So Watt is going to put the tech on Zombie, but Zombie doesn't really end up recovering any protection, so this should be interesting. Dispel all the stealth. I mean, that's after the first death anyway. It's been a while since I've done this matchup, but should be alright here. Let's just get some exposes around. They've all got quite a few now. So this is dispelled. I could say let's go for what here? Probably the best idea before one more tech gets handed out. Doesn't have a whole lot of debuffs, but it's enough to kill him. Probably barely, but it works. Newt is about to hand out his extortion, so if I can just ability block him and save myself that headache, that would be great, but I guess today we don't do the great. Messy. Debuffed all around. Just dispel him. So both of my cleansers are stunned here, which is really great. Yeah. Alright, well the nice thing here, if you cleanse extortion, everyone's still going to attack. So that's what makes Geo so nice against this new team. I should be a bit careful of Asajj, that she doesn't ramp up too much damage. I'm pretty sure I just lost a guy to Dooku's arguably weak attack, though he is Relic 4. I did not anticipate that. That is quite impressive. They're taking a lot of turns so far, and it looks like I am vastly underestimating this team because my Geobrute Alpha hasn't taken a single turn, and this Dooku is just hitting absolutely crazy. So I guess this is a great lesson for me fighting a Relic 4 Dooku. Do not underestimate this dude. I didn't even spot the hits. I should be looking out for that. I think he's hitting for like, what is it, 50k or so? So that was a glorious defeat. I'll deal with that one last probably. Should be okay. So how much offense does this Dooku have? Oops, gotta hold this. He's modeled for speed and potency. Doesn't have a particularly crazy amount of offense here. I didn't cleanse a whole lot of extortion either, because I was stunned the whole time, so I'm quite impressed with how much damage he was dealing. That's really pretty cool actually. So let's go up against Padme next. Get this one out of the way. I think I can keep these guys together. Don't really need Dooku here. Yeah, let's just keep Thrawn for the banner recovery and go in on this one. I didn't check any speeds, normally seen I do, but considering his gear levels, I kind of doubt that he put his best stuff into this. So what I usually like to do is isolate GK and fracture Padme, because Padme fractured is my preference, I suppose. Okay, isolate this guy. Dispel all of these, and then just work on Jedi Knight Anakin, as he is the damage dealer. I don't foresee the need to even heal much with Thrawn, but it's always handy to have him in there. I suppose I could have kept him against the new team with whatever way I'm planning to clean that up, but I should be okay. Okay, just going to go for you. And I don't really like to annihilate Anakin. I can usually get away with just going straight for Padme, and I'll probably do that in this case. I might get AoE'd, but yeah, I'll be fine. I can recover all that stuff. You can stall a lot on GK in the end, so it really doesn't matter. And of course Scion also has his protection recovery. Fracture you. Keep this guy topped up. No reason to do the AoE here, so let's just recover some protection. Dispel your buffs. You can have all the speed you want. And you can also stall on C3PO, like you don't need to immediately go for GK here, there's really no reason. You can just focus on C3PO, kill him even though he doesn't pose any threat, in case you need to recover banners if you're fighting a much stronger Padme team, which I'm not in this case. So it's not really a problem. He doesn't have Bane, so I'm just going to basic here, recover Traya next, then Scion in the end, or he might just recover himself. I could have put that on Thrawn, I suppose, to reduce his cooldowns, or saved it. It's going to basic and drain. He has Bane, so I'm going to use this one opportunity here to recover my protection. Basic. I don't want to annihilate here because Scion is not full yet. But now he is. Oh, glorious misclick there. Alright, well, it's going to cost me a banner probably, which is okay. Yeah, epic fail. Alright. I'm gonna leave this last, like I said. Still crazy how I lost that with my Geos. I mean, I don't have the most formidable Geos, but they should have done a bit better there. Now I'm probably going to use, I'm thinking I could be using Darth Revan here. I just have bad experiences with Darth Revan against Grievous, where all of the kills are chained up and Grievous just mows too much of the team down. So I'm thinking I might be using Padme instead, just stack up a lot of courage and then try to one-shot Grievous that way. That might be a nicer way of doing it. And then I can just Darth Revan the clones. Or just send him Malak, really. That might be a better choice. Let's do that instead. So where are you, sir? Now in 3v3, if you try to use Malak there against clones, it can actually be pretty interesting because they take a lot more turns, and Rex's aerial advantage move can actually start racking up quite a lot of damage. So it can get pretty dicey. Even against some lower relic clones, you can get into trouble relatively quickly. Wow, this 5 says more health than protection. Interesting. Well, that's going to make this pretty quick for me, so no complaints. Even that hit, it didn't look that weak. You're looking at the damage it does and you're like, wow, please don't give me too many of those, because I don't think I would withstand them too well. And he's probably going to get another one of those off before I kill him. There it is. So that took me to half health actually. That's quite a lot of damage. But I should be fine now. Let's go for Echo next. Drain you. $64, that's better. So I'm not going to get to the banner average I wanted due to losing to Newt, but I can use my Darth Revan team to clean this up, which shouldn't really give me any trouble. And then I'll be using Padme over here. And that will be the end of the match. So just going to go in with the full team here, I think. Any reason to switch out C3PO? Yes, probably. Let's use Shaq. I like Shaq a little better in some cases because she can build up so much courage. And can stealth some characters and put the taunt back on GK, which can also be pretty handy. So let's go with this. It's not going to be pretty on banners probably, but I really need to get a lot of courage on my Anakin to one-shot the Grievous. So going to put I'm thinking about it. Stealthing, there's not really any use because it's going to get dispelled, so might as well go straight in for the attack. Basic for the protection up. This guy is about to die very quickly. Whatever buffs I put up here are going to get dispelled by B2, so there's absolutely no point. I might as well get the first kill and tank the AoE. Ugh, this B1 is going to be the bane of my existence. It's Relic 7 and he doesn't crit, of course. Hopefully this doesn't kill Anakin. It didn't. Now I can dispel. Put him in stealth so the Droidica doesn't pay him a visit. Heal up. Does anyone have any kind of courage going here? 10 stacks. That's not going to be enough for you, but it might be for you. Yes. Okay. Oh boy. Grievous just deleted himself from existence. I guess that works. And B1 did the same. 55. It's not the best, but they're out of there. And then finally I can just Darth Revan this new team. Sith Trooper. It's going to be messy. I'm going to lose banners pretty much no matter what I do. Question is if I want to lose an extra one and throw Nest in there as well. I think Nest is going to be handy for the dispels, the daze, the Terminator removal, so I guess I'll bring her too. Sith Trooper might not really add anything because I can be stunned under Darth Revan lead anyway. And I don't really need the damage so much, so I'm going to get him out of here. Maybe I'll bring Old Ben for the AoE ability block. That can be pretty handy. I'll do that. Pretty weird team, but I think in general they'll give me the best win chance. So, an immediate dispel. I don't think anyone was even using any buffs. Looks like someone in the guild is not in the Discord channel anymore and might have accidentally left or something. No idea what's going on there. There's no turn meter, but the ability blocks can be pretty nice, so I'm going to use those. Fear the whole team. Shock everyone out. I'm telling you, this Dooku is a crazy dude. Bit better than I thought. Alright, what's the final score? 1892. Could be better, but it was fun. It was an interesting matchup. I kind of wish I would have fought his Jedi Knight Revan team and his GACs team, because that would have made for a pretty interesting challenge. But I guess he used them. I'm really wondering what he did with the GACs against my teams, but I guess I'll see it in the history once that comes up. So just checking the feats. I think I only did this one, and I guess I scored this one as well. So that's quite alright. Might as well claim them. And that's that. First Grand Arena Championship battle is a wrap. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any tips or feedback for me, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you have a great day and see you again next time.